Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. It's February 1st, 2018. Let's take a quick walk around the shop for this week of Vorshlag. Okay, we're here looking at our 2007 C6 Z06 Project Rampage, which we're finally starting to build. We got some of the body work on. Brad's mounted the inner fenders, ZR1 front fenders, and the hood and nose. The hood's right here. Hood and nose are going to go on later today. We're going to send the car off to Anderson Composites, and they're going to do some carbon body work for the C6. But we're looking at the car first time we've really had it on the lift. And there's a couple things that need a little tweaking. The front subframe on these cars is magnesium on the C6Zs, and there's a couple little issues there, but we'll work through those. The frame itself is aluminum, which is nice. We've already replaced some of the control arms and pieces that were robbed off of this car before we bought it. As you can see, the front bumper supports are gone, so we'll add a custom crash bar, and we'll hang the front nose off of that. So we're looking up in the tunnel. There's a big cover here that goes above the exhaust and below the torque tube that the drive shaft passes through. So we're looking at how big of an exhaust we can fit through here. The motor we're building for this at Horsepower Research is very, very big. We're trying to make over 1,000 horsepower on motor. So to flow that, we've got two 3.5-inch pipes here, and they easily fit within the space that's left in the tunnel. So that's what we'll probably do. American Racing Headers makes a 2 1/8-inch primary, 3.5-inch collector, long tube stainless header. We just saw some on Ferris's car; they look great, and so we'll do the 3.5s back, and then once we get back up in here, we may go bigger. So as you can see, that's like a 2.5 or 3-inch tube. This is a 3.5, and we'll do the numbers. If 3.5 will flow enough, we'll do that. We could even fit a 4-inch tube up here, and instead of going to the stock location for the mufflers, we're actually going to go through the trunk floor and put the mufflers in the rear section of the car. We'll have a firewall behind the passenger compartment, and we'll have the exhaust go out through the inside the car and out to the back fascia. So the C6 Corvette was built from 2005 to 2014. The C6 Z06 was built starting in 2006, and the 06 and 07 have the old T56 base transmission. It's not as strong as the newer, stronger 08 and up TR6060 base transmission, so we won't use this case. We'll sell this. A lot of the C5 guys like using this one. It's a little bit better than the C5 transmissions, and the C6Z one for those guys works out well. So we'll get a later transmission, and then back here, this monstrosity is the differential, and we'll use the ZR1 style, which is a much stronger case. There's a lot more aluminum in it, it's a lot stronger, and we'll use the ZR1 C6 differential to have the strongest possible drivetrain. We may or may not do a sequential. The torque output we have planned is more than the 700 foot-pounds that the Magnum can take, so we may have to go to something stronger. So these are the factory C6 Z06 bypass mufflers, and they have a little vacuum actuator and spring-loaded flapper valve, so you can basically bypass the muffler internally. We'll do away with all that, and to leave more room for a diffuser, we'll get rid of the mufflers here altogether. Our plan is to have the mufflers in the hatch area, again sealed away from the passenger compartment for heat, and then they'll vent out somewhere around the license plate or between maybe some of the taillights, but just to give us some more room and get that heat from these mufflers. They get very hot. We want to keep that heat away from the transaction or the diff, and just give us some more cooling, and again, room for a bigger pipe. So instead of going up and over the axle with a 3.5, which would be really tricky, we'll just go straight up into the trunk and mount the mufflers up there and then vent them out the back. So this is the E46 M3 CSL V8. It's nearing completion. The guys at G-Speed have finished up the Motec harness. It's going to have an M150 Motec. They're building a harness for this LS7 based engine. We've got the aero in the rear done. The front aero is happening soon. The ABS is being mounted. The chassis has been wired. There's a lot of hours in wiring, but it's a custom harness. The wide body is in steel, which we may pull molds to do carbon. We will see. The interior is semi-complete. It's kind of taken apart now more than it has been in the past. We've got custom door panels to clear the cage. There's some of the dash structures there, electric steering. The false floors are in. All the wiring and relays are covered up under that false floor on that side. So we got the front wheels and tires off. It's a 18 by 13 with a 335 front, 345 in the back. So the engine is a horsepower research 468 LS7, really long stroke, really big bore, 7.7 liter engine. Should make over 700 horsepower, close to that at the tires. Fuel system's almost done, ignition system's done, the engine harness we're waiting for, the chassis harness is essentially wrapped up. It'll have these twin air boxes. One of them's out because they're doing some plumbing behind it and some wiring there. But it's getting close. We're really excited to start this thing up in February. So this is Adam's 2012 Evo 10. This one came in, it's still a street legal car, had roll-up windows and some of the interior. We've stripped the interior, we've cut out the 4-point roll bar that fit under the factory sunroof. We've cut the factory steel roof out and have this AMS carbon fiber, dry carbon. It's like a 4 or 5 pound roof. It's really nice, it fits really well. It's really thick, it's stiff, it doesn't oil can. We took about 450 pounds out of this car since when it rolled in. We'll put some weight back in with the cage. We got Lexan on order from the UK for the rear windows and the side and the side rear windows. But yeah, the cage is happening now. It's already got a much better seat bracket than it had any business having. The one before was really janky, and this one is super rigid. It's not even bolted in all the way, and it's still pretty stout. The plinth blocks are done, and Aaron's over here rolling out the cage. So on the Evo, Aaron's rolled out the center portion of this tube with the tubing roller, Brian's tubing roller over there, and now he's about to use our tubing bender to do the main bends. This will keep the tube tucked closer to the roof, just for the most headroom possible. The seat we lowered probably 3 inches because it was sitting really high on this janky slider, and now it's much lower. The guy's kind of tall anyway, so we want to get as much headroom between him and the cage, and there should just be acres of room now. And this will only help, just a little bit extra room at the top. 69 Camaro is always popular. It's partially disassembled right now. Some of the cooling boxes are just kind of sitting in here. But this is closer than it's been. The plumbing is largely wrapped up. Brian's about to jump on this again next week, and he'll tackle a custom wiring harness for this car as well. He's got some of the false floor panels out, so you can see underneath all the hard lines and bulkhead fittings that go through all the cross members. And fuel system is what he's been routing here. Exhaust is all done, but it's out of the way right now. And again, he started on some plumbing there for the heater box, the defroster. A lot of panels are built, they're just out of the way right now for construction. And under hood, you can see he made a custom coolant reservoir. You got the Aviad remote oil filter, Peterson oil catch can, the Holley regulator we've got temporarily stolen on that car, power steering reservoir, fuel filter. We're just kind of wrapping this one up, getting it ready to start it too. So this is a right-hand drive E36 one of our customers found. It got imported, and we're using it for development for an E36 right-hand drive LS swap. We're pretty much done. We're waiting on the production header to come back, but we'll have our Stage 0 kit should be available for this car by summer. So this is a 328 coupe. It's a wide body car I bought from a local guy it's got a Fossmann body kit from Germany that was really popular back in the day, made for motorsports use. It's got the fenders already grafted in, so this is a 10-inch wheel, it's just dwarfed in here, so we'll probably run an 1812 square, 315, 335, depending on what class we end up building this car for. It's got really lightweight carbon doors. It's got a carbon roof that's not completely installed, it's just kind of sitting on here. We're going to have a gutted wide body E46 to replace our red 330 that we raced for the last 2 seasons with NASA. So CNC room's been busy. Tim's been whipping through parts. He just made some new jaws for an upcoming product that we're working on, some ride height adjusters, and he's making camber plates. What are you making, Tim?
Making plates for S197 Mustang.
S197 Mustang. Can't keep those in stock. S550 also super popular. So yeah, always making plates. Try to make everything we can in-house. That way we control the cost, quality, materials, and can't blame anybody else if something goes wrong. So that's it. Quick walk around the shop. A lot of products going on. We've got cars hidden all over Texas. They're waiting to get worked on. There's a couple out there I didn't talk about because we hadn't started them yet. There's some stashed in our trailer. They're everywhere. So we got a ton of work, probably 6 months of backlog, if not more. So it's a busy time. We're in the middle of building a new building. So we got that extra construction going on in the background, so a lot going on. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.